And we are live. What's going on, folks? Welcome to episode number 45 of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. My name is John. I'm the co owner of Nuclear and TW Legion. Joined tonight by Joey from Scheffler Fans, Ryan from JT Legion, and Hutch Bennett, one of our Nuclear Golf ambassadors. Today's episode of the Nuclear Golf Podcast is brought to you by Zippix Nicotine Infused Toothpicks. Visit zippixtoothpicks.com for more information. Must be 18 plus to order. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Huge thanks to Zippix for sponsoring today's show. Fellas, there's tons to get into tonight. There was a bombshell report this morning from Josh Carpenter of Sports Business Journal reporting that Brooks Koepka could be on the move. He may be not playing at LIV this upcoming season, despite his contract still going through the next year. So we're going to talk a lot about that, go in depth on it, get your guys' thoughts. We're also going to chat about um, Scott O'Neill, the CEO of LIV's, given a number of interviews today about the future outlook of the league, discussing the potential for ranking points coming in before the 2026 season gets underway. So we'll chat about that. Hideki Matsuyama won the Hit and Giggle in the Bahamas over the weekend down at the Hero World Challenge. Tigers tournament, of course. He obviously spoke this week. We learned pretty much not a lot about his health, went exactly kind of how we expected. But we'll talk about that. Wyndham Clark was back complaining again, complaining all the way down in the Bahamas, actually, which is pretty shocking because it's just a relaxing atmosphere for the guys at the end of the season, but still took issue with the course. So we'll chat on that. And then Rory McIlroy kind of gave a future outlook for his career and what he's going to be prioritizing in the years ahead. And then also his off-season plans here as we head into the holidays. And we'll wrap things up with a discussion post. So stay tuned for that. It's a hot button topic that we want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. So we're going to get started with the Brooks Koepka news that came out this morning. Josh Carpenter of Sports Business Journal dropped that kind of nugget there. He said 4 separate sources were telling him that there is a chance, at least a chance, that Brooks Koepka does not play on the LIV Golf League in 2026. We'll chat more about this in depth, but just you guys' immediate reaction to that news. Are you surprised? Is this something you kind of thought we could see here in the future? Just he's not fully invested in LIV, never wore the Smash GC team gear or anything like that. So maybe Hutch, we'll start with you. Is this a shock for you, or is this something you're not too
No,
surprised about?
well, I think there's different levels to it, right? Like, is it a shock that he doesn't seem thrilled with Live in general? No. I think anybody who watched Full Swing that year could tell you that. Like, he was pretty open. He was one of the first guys who was honest about why he went. He didn't stick to the grow the game line that everybody else was pushing around that time. He was the one who said, "My knee was hurt. I didn't know if I was ever going to get back to normal. I took the bag, and that's why I did it." He is, like you mentioned, the only one who is still wearing his sponsor instead of his team gear. Doesn't seem like it'd be difficult to get his logo on his Nike shirt, but so I mean, in that aspect, is it surprising? No. I do find it surprising and kind of unbelievable, honestly, that he would not play Live this year. Because from what I understand, like he may have to buy himself out of his contract. I don't know I don't know how that works. And then, like, is the tour even going to take him back at that point? Like, isn't he still suspended? Like, when does that end? How does he get back in? We don't really
August
know these
of
things. I
August.
just kind of lean towards, like, we usually listen to Flushing. It's got pretty good sources with Live, right?
Right.
So, I mean, his tweet today was, saying basically, like, it's not difficult to find somebody that can tell you Brooks is unhappy with Live, but he is under contract. And if he was going to terminate his contract early, he'd have to pay back a ton of money to do so. Um, it says to see a future without Brooks and Live is realistic, but is he preparing to lose out on millions of dollars and pay back millions of dollars just to skip playing 14 events next year? I don't see that either. I think more likely, like, he'll play this upcoming season and then move on from there.
Yeah,
Ryan.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I kind of feel like he's gonna probably play. I don't know where all these sources I don't know what kind of information they're getting. Because I mean, with him being under contract and with him having to pay a lot back, um, it's not like he's been performing really well over the last year or so in the majors and outside of that. So I'm not really sure what his motive would be to just not play on live, because I don't think he's going to be able to come right back to the tour. Even though I would definitely welcome him right back to the tour, but that's not my call. But yeah, I don't really understand the dynamics of it, and I think that we're gonna have to hear some more information directly from the source's mouth. Honestly,
I just don't. I mean, is it a matter of fact that he's just not happy with the product? Because it is kind of a weird spot to be put in, where your initial thought was go chase the bag, and then now this doesn't seem like it would be the most financially responsible decision. Like, if you're cool with the level of golf you're playing and still want to make good money, we know the contracts won't be probably nearly as lucrative as that initial one, but still good money to not play that much golf and still get your reps for the majors. So if he's making a 180 and it's more of a spin to go try to work back towards the tour or play that style of golf, I guess that's the correct way to go about it, is what he's trying to do. I don't really know how that works. I guess it's the first time we'd see a jump like this, like actually try to be transitioned out. So I don't know. I guess, I mean, obviously we got to wait and see what the sources actually say are the next steps, if it ever is going to come to fruition.
Yeah, here's my take on it. Josh Carpenter, well-established journalist in the, Sports Business Journal. He doesn't just put this stuff out without checking his sources first. When he says he's got 4 sources, it's pretty significant. Sometimes he'll use the term like multiple sources. For him to say he has 4 sources, he's well plugged in to both the PGA Tour and Live. My guess is and I'm just speculating here, haven't spoken to Josh. My guess is he has spoken to some people potentially on the PGA Tour side who have given him knowledge of the fact that he might be returning to the tour. That's my guess. I also think that it's likely that Brooks won't play on Live Golf in 2025 or 26. I don't think that that's even getting put out this morning if that's not the case. And you're also seeing some of the Live accounts respond accordingly. Like you're seeing Flushing It, who's well plugged in, say you can see a future of Live without Brooks Koepka on it. So I think it's very likely that Brooks has played his final round on Live Golf. He's eligible to return to the PGA Tour in August 2026, I believe. He's eligible for all the major championships in 26, and he's eligible for all of the DP World Tour's events. And then that's not to say that the tour could potentially negotiate an earlier return for him. This is a marquee player. I'm sure they would love to bring him back. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of waiting period that he'll have to go through, but I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't have to wait until August to come back if he wants to. And with regards to the monetary fine, I don't think that's a big concern for him if it means that he gets to go back to where he wants to be. If he has to break his contract early, has to pay some millions of dollars, I can see it, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to see, but I will not be surprised if Brooks Koepka has played for the final time on the Live Golf Tour.
Well, and I saw I think the big thing, and it was in Flushing its tweet, like that, of all the big name guys, like the captains per se, like Brooks is the one guy that hasn't fully like bought into the vision of Live. And if you think about it, like it makes sense. He really is the one guy who, like, you see Bryson out there, he's championing the whole team concept and wearing his gear and getting sponsorships for his teammates and all that stuff. John Rahm kind of doing the same thing. They're all Callaway guys now, stuff like that. Brooks really hasn't. So yeah, I could see it without him for sure. I don't know. I did see somebody tweet, I don't remember who it was. Somebody tweeted that if he was going to leave Live, the tour should welcome him back immediately. And they said it would be a death blow to Live. Let's be very clear. That would not be a death blow to Live at all. Bryson DeChambeau would be a death blow to Live. This is not that. Brooks is not like the most media guy. He's not the most popular golfer in the world like Bryson is. Like it's a big deal for sure. He's a great player, but it's not like the end of the world as we see it.
It's definitely a marquee name though. right, Joey? It's
For
a
sure.
marquee
Yeah,
name
for
on
sure.
Live. One of the guys that went for 9 figures. So
Mhm.
it's not a small thing by any stretch of the imagination. He is in the upper echelon of Live golfers.
Well, I
Hell
think
yeah, he is.
it's a big name, but I don't. It's a big piece of the story, but I don't know that it has the draw for like either side. Like the PGA obviously is going to try to angle this in their favor. Like it's a big deal no matter what. But us knowing that Brooks was never, the one championing, the entire existence of Live Golf and knew it was going to be this successful situation. So I don't think it's going to be super easy for there to be a media spinoff of like, see, it's falling apart. Liv is absolutely losing anything it ever held. Because yes, losing Brooks is a big deal, but you didn't lose one of those guys that's championing the tour. Like Brooks has been open and honest the entire time. He's like, look, I want to make money. I want to play less golf. I want to stay a little bit more healthy. And if he's willing to get out of that, Liv's never really been advertised as the more aggressive tour for, someone that really wants to play. So, I mean, it's just going to be hard to make like as much of a media narrative about it, but it's still a massive deal. It's, I mean, it guaranteed one of the top 4 or 5 biggest players on Live, if not 3, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bigger deal though is going to turn into is what does this look like? It's not necessarily that it is Brooks, but Brooks is one of the top 5 names. But what does this look like if he is going to come back to the tour? And what if we all know John Rahm loved the PGA Tour? Like, let's be honest, like he definitely did, right? And so what if 2 years down the road this is another story, and so this might just
Yeah.
be the initial, hey, this is what it's going to look like coming back to the tour. So I think the story will evolve more into that narrative of what does it look like than Brooks's decision to leave or stay.
That's the bigger deal to me, Ryan. Big time. Because, like, if they take it super light on him and welcome him back, like, is it good for the tour as a whole? Probably. But then what does that signal to the other guys on Live? Like, you can come back with no punishment after they sit here and threatened you when you were leaving the whole time. You can come back with next to no punishment. And at what point then does the tour membership stand up and say, hey, fuck this, guys? Like, what do we talk? We told them they can't come back. Like, what are we doing? Why aren't we just letting them walk back and taking spots from other people that have been here the whole time and stayed loyal? So that's going to be the big thing to me, is just to see, because they're setting a precedent here, is what they're doing. They're setting a precedent of whether, if your name is big enough, you can get out of the punishment that we promised you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
they
that's
can
going to be the
always
big
use
thing.
they can always use that card of, well, this is a new chapter. We have a new CEO, or we've got a new
Yeah.
vision. We've got a new. I mean, we can all kind of see where this could go.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does it? And also, where is he going to be? Right. Like, is he going to be able to play signature events right away? Like, now that would be something that the membership or the guys on the tour would be like, whoa, this is not okay, because we've qualified. We've had to work really hard to get in these events, and then obviously we know about the 2027 schedule and what we've talked about previously. So, again, I think this is just one of those things we just need to wait. But this is going to be a precedent set here, one way or the
Yeah.
other.
We do know that Brooks Koepka is one of the boys on the PGA Tour. He's well liked by like all the players. He was not involved in the suing of the PGA Tour. Like, even when he immediately went over, you still heard guys saying favorable things about Brooks. Tiger is like close with Brooks, or was. I think they respect Brooks for his place in the game. So, I
And his
think he would
honesty.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
he'd
the
be
big thing.
welcomed back. Yeah,
Like,
for
he was
sure.
so honest about why he went while everybody was pushing obvious lies about growing the game. And I'm the Live
Right.
guy, and I'm saying that was bullshit. He was
Yeah.
honest from the
Yeah.
beginning. And I think that's a big reason why he's not looked at as negatively as a bunch of the other guys.
Hutch, we did see the quote from Live CEO Scott O'Neill. He said this was his response to Josh Carpenter about Brooks's contract situation. He said, "I know you're not going to want to hear this one, just the individual players, and this goes back to our policy. We're just going to run it through. So we haven't made any announcements on players, but he is signed for 2026. So he says Brooks is still under contract, fine, but also didn't really elaborate any farther. He didn't deny or even really push back that hard on the potential prospect of Brooks being done at Live Golf. So I think that's pretty telling in itself. And then you're seeing the response from the live related accounts. So I just won't be shocked at all. I don't think we even see this news today if it wasn't pretty likely that Brooks would be leaving. All right, let's shift gears to the world ranking points topic. So, again, CEO Scott O'Neil is doing these end of the year interviews. I believe this one was with Sports Illustrated. He was asked for his biggest disappointment in his first year as CEO. He said, "World ranking points, still a work in progress. Conversations are still continuing. I'm very impressed with Trevor Immelman as a leader. He has the 4 majors, the PGA Tour, and the European Tour on his board. That's a complicated group to wrangle. I'm very hopeful on December 31st, I'll have a different answer." Are you guys expecting us to see Liv get some form of world golf ranking points heading into the 2026 season? Or is there going to be continued uncertainty surrounding that topic and it's not going to get resolved until later in the year? Ryan, what do you think?
I would not be surprised if they did get a proportional amount of points moving forward into the 2026 season. I mean, to me, it's kind of like, what is there to lose at this point? Especially with the way that they are gearing up for the future of the tour, and then how that goes. And I know it's not just about the tour, but I think that all that stuff's going to get reworked and reevaluated. So I kind of at this point don't see why you wouldn't go ahead and allocate some points to Live based off of their format and their strength of field. Surely they've been working on this very hard, and surely they understand about the strength of schedule and the number of players and the cuts and the no cuts. And I would think that we would see something in 26 for sure.
I mean, realistically, we were headed there when they switched to 72 holes. That's the whole point of switching. Like, we're headed there. It's just a matter of, in my opinion, when it happens.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I mean, I would have assumed it was going to just be a longer process, but then we did, I guess, talk about the fact that, like, because it's kind of been half iffy and half off, maybe they don't have to restart the process all over again. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the curtain that they're working on. It's just finalizing some issues, working out some of the kinks. So originally, if you'd asked me probably a month ago, I would have felt pretty confident that they would just stay on track this season and then start fresh following season with the points. And obviously, like, this Brooks thing plays into it. You know, you want to get those as soon as possible. Like, you're not wanting to sit around and not be able to have access to that. So obviously they're doing everything they possibly can to receive those, you know, as fast as possible.
It feels like to me, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it feels like to me, like in golf, there's so much they just change the rules so much. Like, it doesn't shock me when anything happens. Like, if Brooks were to just show up on the PGA Tour, it wouldn't shock me. It would be because they changed some rule, or they paid off his fines, or they did whatever. The world ranking thing is kind of the same deal. It's like, we've got these rules, but if we don't like them or they don't serve us in that moment, we're willing to change them. And the tour's doing the same thing with the schedule. They keep flip-flopping, going all over the place with signature events, non-signature events. By the way, Tiger exempt forever in signature events that are only going to exist for one more year. Like, it's just like, it just feels like the goalposts are just constantly moving. And if they don't like the rules, they'll just make up new rules to get rid of the old rules. And who knows what's happening? Like, we can sit here and talk about the Brooks thing, and we can talk about whether Liv's going to give us points. If they decide that they're going to give him points, they're going to figure out a way to do it. If they decide that Brooks is going to come back to the tour, then Brooks is just going to show up on the tour, and we won't even know half of the shit that goes on behind the scenes to get all this stuff done. But I just don't feel like any of the rules that are in place really mean much right now.
Well, the goalposts are going to keep moving. Like, that's just right now until there's some sort of solidified either agreement or disagreement and agree to disagree. Like, it's just going to be constant movement, because setting your feet, you know, digging your feet in is not going to help you at all. The PGA Tour, we saw what they did. They were super strict on, no, here's the rules. You know, you can't come back if here's the fines, here's all this stuff. And then, you know, we've talked about this new image that the PGA Tour is trying to build. They're not going to hold themselves back at all now. You know, if Liv's going to be moving around and changing and going to 72 holes and doing different format stuff and contracts, they're like, okay, well, we want to be equally as, you know, interchangeable. That way we don't turn off anybody else from the tour. So I would envision for the next year or two, it's going to be an absolute shit show with everything getting moved around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is what Live did, right? Like when they create competition, because you hear people bitch and moan all the time about baseball's reluctancy to change their rules and their game, and it took forever to get the pitch clock in. It took forever for all these rules, the man on second base. It took forever for all this stuff, right? And like it or don't, like they eventually changed. But the PGA Tour, the reason that they're and their feet's and really the whole game of golf, their feet's held to the fire is because Liv came in and created this competition, and so now everybody's fighting to see who can have the biggest draw and who can create the best product. And so rules are going to change. To your point, Hutch, they're just gonna, if they're like Brooks is better for the game on the tour, boom, Brooks is on the tour. Like that's just what
Yeah.
it's gonna be. So I mean, I kind of like that fact that they are agile in that way, but it does get confusing when you're trying to keep up with it all.
Hutch, speaking of changes to the tour over the next year here, talk around that really kicked into high gear at the Hero World Challenge when Tiger Woods' press conference was dominated by the 2027 schedule topic. In fact, it got a lot more play than actually about his golf game, about his recovery, which is not something that we're used to, but it just kind of shows you the changing of the guard that we're kind of in here. Tiger's still the dude, still the guy, but like he still has this significant place in the sport, whether that be playing or whether that be coming together with all the rest of the stakeholders to try and figure out the future calendar. We did learn this week that he and PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap met with all of the 20 guys that were in the field at the Hero World Challenge. Apparently delivered a 90-minute presentation about the future outlook of the tour. He said there's just so many balls in the air right now. They're trying to figure out whether it's going to be a full-on complete revitalization of the schedule in 2027 or if it's going to be more of a gradual change. They're still figuring all that out. He said there's several different models that are currently on the table. I'm not sure if they know yet how it is going to look like exactly. But it'll be interesting to see, obviously. Um, Hutch, what were your thoughts on Tiger's press conference, whether it be about his health or about the future of the tour?
So, I mean, like you say, it did skew heavily towards more tour centric stuff, which for me personally, maybe for you too, as a fellow super fan, was kind of disappointing. I was looking for more updates on Tiger. How did he feel when he got out of bed this morning? Was his back hurting? Like, what's going on? When's the last time we hit balls? What are we looking at here? Even if you give us the non-answers, we've learned to kind of decode some of those a little bit. So I was looking for that. But yeah, I mean, he's like you say, to your point, dude, like he's the guy. We've spent all these years talking about like he doesn't move the needle, he is the needle. Like it feels almost like whatever, if Tiger thinks that something's going to get done, it's going to get done. Like whatever he says goes. It's almost like we've got this new CEO of the tour, but if Tiger says something's going to happen, they need to make it happen. Like he's there could be a million other players who were out there giving that presentation with him, but it wasn't. It was him. And he spoke kind of in the press conference about how we've only had one official meeting or whatever, but I'm working on this shit every single day. Like he seems to care so much about giving back and making sure the tour is around for decades to come because it gave so much to him. Also, too, I mean, for his own sake, like he should take pride in that because he's the one who built it into the monster that it is now. That money they're getting now wasn't there till he came along. He made golf cool. He's, in a weird way, the reason why we're even doing this right now.
Right.
So he very much is a big part of that. He's the head of the tour as far as I'm concerned. Like he's the guy.
Yeah, I took away from that press conference more than any press conference before that like you're seeing, his role shift, right? Like he
Mhm.
is you're seeing the questions go away from when are you playing as much, which is unfortunate for us obviously, but you're seeing it change. You're seeing it move into what is he doing? What does he see the future? And you really can see his handprints, his fingerprints all over this whole thing. And I think the great thing about him too, Hutch, is like he's surrounding himself with the right players and the right
Mhm.
people that to make educated decisions. Tiger's not doing this all on his own, but he is the I mean he is the president. Like he is. I mean, he is the shot caller in all this. Like, I mean, like it or don't, like he has, and he has the best interest for the guys too. I mean, he wants to see those guys succeed. He wants to see top players paid. He wants to see top players and the top events constantly because he wants to see the tour succeed. He also, I know that he wants to see other guys who aren't top tier guys. I know he wants to see a path for them to succeed as well. So you're just seeing a lot of these questions, shift to that, which, it's just, unfortunately, it's just like it makes me just feel old. It's just like, oh man, I just want to see Tiger tee it up, but that's just not a reality. Every single tournament.
Well, Ryan, you hit the nail on the head because like it, it's the first time, and I think Tiger acknowledged it too, and it just kind of seems like this. It's not that crazy, a couple years ago, if we did this press conference and you're like, why the hell is everybody asking about the future of the tour? Why is nobody asking about Tiger's health? And I think it's because probably we've been in that scenario so many times about questions about Tiger's health and all this stuff. And this is almost like a new page in his book, and everyone's kind of, maybe not come to term with the fact of Tiger's health and that it might not look too good for his actual, playing career, at least on the PGA Tour. But they're all about the fact that he's knowing all the insider stuff. Like he's heading this on, and he wants to leave his imprint outside of playing now, and be a voice, like you said, leading the forefront of this thing. So I think that everyone's kind of slowly acknowledging, and it is kind of a big deal because it was weird, I guess, just to see everyone's reaction being like, yeah, that's kind of a focal point because we know what Tiger's going to say about how he feels about his health, but we don't know what he's got his 2 cents on the future of the tour or what his involvement's going to look like in that. So,
well, and two, like I think it's a collision of a bunch of worlds. And John, I'm curious what you think about this too. Like he's the perfect guy for it because he was the face of the game for so long, but he's also got those relationships with the older crowd, with the executives, because he did build this up. But he's also immersed himself with the younger crowd. Like he's got such good relationships with like JT and Spieth and Scotty now at that, to his point. Like it's all the future of the game. He's kind of a chameleon where he kind of blends in with every crowd, which is weird because there was a time where you would think he was so socially awkward that he wouldn't really fit in with any of those people, but now he fits in with everybody. So he's just kind of looked at as the leader, whether he wants it or not. That's just what it is, and he seems to be embracing that role.
Absolutely. It's wild to see the kind of the transformation here over the last couple of years, really taking on that leadership role. And I mean, we can't forget all these guys on the PGA Tour who are members have equity in the tour now. We know for a fact that Tiger's equity stake is probably quite a bit more significant than some of the other guys. I mean, he's probably up there in equity stake with Rory and, a couple of the heavy hitters, but the success of the PGA Tour is going to result in him taking significant financial gain in the future for years to come. So he wants to make this work as best as he can, right? That's just it, I think. And with regards to his golf, I mean, we didn't learn much golf wise from that press conference. He was asked about the Champions Tour. I don't think we really learned much. I think he might have mentioned that he had a couple of events kind of that he's been looking at on the Champions Tour. We also learned that he won't be playing in the PNC Championship this year. I mean, he did acknowledge that he could chip and putt, but it wouldn't be fair, to another team that could take a spot in the field, right?
Yeah. What did you guys think about his Ryder Cup captaincy answer? I thought that was very telling.
Nobody's asked me about it. I was like,
But
cap,
yeah,
bullshit.
I was like, I mean,
Everyone
that's
does.
what I took from it too. I'm like, all right, we know who our captain's gonna be. I could be dead wrong about that, but that's just the way I took that question.
I took it as just like, okay, there's the flash of the old Tiger. Like I just think back to like the '08 US Open. They're like, how's your leg? He's like, fine. Then he comes out after it like he had broken and torn ACL, like just won the whole thing. So it's like I just took back like that was just a flashback of what we used to get in the pressers where he would crack the door open, but not really. We wouldn't get anything out of it.
Yep, the future of Tiger is an interesting one. We'll see how it all unfolds, coming into next year. I think we're going to see him tee it up here and there. He said he might play towards the end of the TGL season, but he'll still be at all the TGL matches. So that'll be interesting. But regardless, it's always good to hear from Tiger. That was the first press conference that we had, I think, from before 2 surgeries had happened. So it had
He
been,
looked
it had
good.
been, yeah.
Didn't y'all think he
Overall,
looked good?
no, I do. I think he looked good. I think he talked pretty smooth. We've definitely seen versions of Tiger in a lot worse condition than what we saw this past Tuesday. Would you say?
Yeah, it seems like his spirit was good. Just his physical appearance looked good to me. We'll just leave it at that. I thought it looked really good.
I'm
Yeah,
amazed that he's
absolutely.
chipping and putting. Absolutely insane. I don't think I
Yeah.
could do that right now.
Yeah.
Just, he's a freak.
All right, guys. This episode is brought to you by Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks. Zippix gives you a clean, convenient, and surprisingly satisfying way to curb your nicotine cravings without smoke, without vapor, and without the long list of synthetic ingredients you find in most modern nicotine products. With Zippix, you can get your fix anytime, anywhere, using just a few simple ingredients and high-quality plant-derived nicotine. No synthetic nicotine, no mystery chemicals, just flavor, control, and a discreet way to stay satisfied. Let's be honest, habits like vaping can be tough to break, and Zippix offers a smarter option. The slow, controlled release gives you steady satisfaction, while the wooden toothpick gives you that familiar hand-to-mouth feel so many people rely on. Zippix toothpicks are proudly made in the USA, available in 6 long-lasting flavors, and come in both 2 milligram and 3 milligram options, so you can choose the level of control that works best for you. They're perfect for flights, sporting events, restaurants, work, literally anywhere smoking and vaping are banned. And if nicotine isn't your thing, Zippix also offers caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks for a clean, quick energy boost without synthetic nonsense. Hundreds of thousands of customers have already made Zippix part of their routine, enjoying flavor, convenience, and control, all without inhaling smoke or vape oils. So give your lungs a break and try Zippix nicotine toothpicks today. Get 10% off your first order by using the code Nuclear at checkout, only at zippixtoothpicks.com. That's the code Nuclear, Nuclr, at checkout for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Huge thanks to Zippix for sponsoring today's show. Fellas, Wyndham Clark is complaining once again. I mean, he had a tough season. He was asked to rate his season at the Hero World Challenge. He said he'd give himself an F just for his play and just everything else that transpired. Obviously banned from Oakmont, the locker room shenanigans.
God, I forgot that.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
we're now getting some more comments about the course conditions at the Hero World Challenge. I mean, this guy went out there. I think he shot like 4 under on the first round. Right? He was 4 under, I think, on the first day, I want to say. I think he shot a 68 and then he shot 66 on Friday. Yeah, I think he shot 66 on Friday. But his quote, "Do you want the politically correct answer? It's not in good shape. You're always chipping into the grain, and there's a lot of chips that are up and over, so you have to chip up, and you're coming from really bad lies in Bermuda, and you have to hit up, and there's just very little margin for error." So Wyndham Clark taking issue with the course conditions at Albany down in the Bahamas. I mean, I'd love to play Albany, especially for a chance to win $100,000. I mean, just for finishing last place. What do you guys think? It's just a hit and giggle.
I
What
mean, we all know that Albany's grainy. Like, it's been grainy for years. I mean, they've been saying that for years. Tigers said that. They've all said that. Like, it's grainy. I look when I was watching, I didn't notice a ton. It did look a little rough around some of the greens, some of the pitching areas, but man, he's basically getting paid to go to go play in the Bahamas. I think I saw the worst you could come out of there was with like 150 grand, and I don't think it cost him 150 grand to get there. My guess is. So I mean, he's getting a vacation. I I mean, this is just par for the course for this guy. I mean, it really is. It's consistent with who he is and what he's done. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of changing going on.
Well, he needs that 150,000 because he's still paying off the locker room damages from Oakmont. So he could probably use every dime he can get right now.
He's got anger management courses to do as well, I believe.
That's true. That's why he had to miss a week of anger management courses to come play, and then he doesn't play that well. He's going to need 3 more weeks because he's pissed off again. So understandable,
But
actually.
to your point, Ryan, like they going into the week, like the videos you saw on social were like, oh, you're going to see a lot of these guys doing this where they chunk wedges or whatever. Where they advertise that that's what you get in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Like, and the winning scores 22, 23 under. Like, you got to have some sort of defense around that course. Like, if everything's into the grain, great. That's the only thing that keeps it from being 40 under. Like, what are we even bitching about? He just complains to complain. I'm convinced of it. He just complains to complain.
Now, he did acknowledge a month or two back just the difficulty of the season. He said he's changed as a person. I think he was trying to turn the page on, the antics that he brought this year with the outbursts and the anger issues. Obviously, he swung his driver. I think it was at the U.S. Open. Was it? I
thought
can't
so.
remember where it was where
When
he smashed a sign, almost killed a volunteer.
Yeah, it was.
It's been a rough. There's been a number of events, and then obviously the Oakmont was just kind of like the pinnacle of it all. That photo of the kicked-in door at one of the most historic country clubs in the U.S. It's tough. It's tough scene. But anyways, Hero World Challenge, Hideki Matsuyama was the winner. Joey, I got to hear your thoughts. Scotty Scheffler decides to go driver off the deck on the back nine on Sunday. He was pissed off right away, mud ball. And then I don't know if you were watching, Joey, and I didn't see many video clips of this whole thing, but I was watching live. Scotty Scheffler had a meltdown out there. He looked like John Rahm for a few minutes. I don't know if you saw the video, but he lost it. He was like going off on himself. Obviously, he ended up making a bogey at the par 5, right? And it's just like, I don't know if anyone saw the video if you weren't watching the tournament, but he was pissed off. He wasn't happy.
No, I didn't see the video after. I didn't see a lot of videos. I feel like the media production from this tournament wasn't a lot because I was traveling, so I didn't get to watch it live. Also, like, hey, that's how you channel your anger management. You just do it right there on the hole. Notice how we went back to the locker room. We didn't cause any issues. We just rightfully handled our aggression. Scotty, hey, he's a passionate guy, competitive. He's a competitor, dude. So.
Ryan, this outburst is literally going to go undocumented. Like, I don't know if you watched. I watched. I texted co-owner Brent right away. I'm like, holy shit, Scotty Scheffler is literally having a meltdown out there. I've never seen this at this level before.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear it was really bad. I was watching, but I didn't happen to see that moment live. But I know Joey can attest to this. I think in 2025, I saw more Scotty. I mean, Scotty has had some meltdowns this year. Probably not to this degree, but he's gotten pissed off. He's slammed his bag. I mean, he's had some. I mean, which I love to see because all you hear is how nice he is and how great he is and how complacent he is. But you hear Randy Smith talk about how competitive he is, and I love seeing it come out on the course. And to your point, Joey, it's like, take it out on the course, man. Take a chunk out of the damn fairway. Like, don't be busting up locker rooms. So I mean, I love to see it. I did hear them ask Tiger about it though in the booth, and Tiger's like, I probably wouldn't hit driver off the deck. I would have probably just punched an iron up there to get it rolling, to get the mud off the ball. I did hear him, and I think Kiz might have said the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I love to see it. I want more Scotty outbursts like that. I love that.
That's just Scotty hanging his nuts. That's what we're gonna get. Like, you want to go for a three-peat, we're not gonna do it holding the brakes down. Like, I want ball to the wall, and that's what he did. So
there's a lot of that going around lately. Scotty, like, literally, I'm down with all that. I wish it was documented because that's the side of Scotty that we don't get to see, and that's the side that I think is going to make him more endearing to people. Like, to me personally, I love that. I'm here for all that. So I mean, I would have loved to have seen that. I do want to point out, not to go too far backwards on Wyndham Clark, he did get 8th place and he won $207,000, so he's got a little pocket change. So back to your point, Joey, if Scotty, he does it the right way, he gets pissed on the hole, he should have gone up and taken a chunk out of those grainy ass fringe areas. Wyndham probably would have been happy. Wyndham would have been cheering from the sidelines with him. They could have just done it together. I don't know, but I wish Scotty would have done that. Good event. Obviously, the headline is Tiger being there for me.
Luckily, if Wyndham keeps playing this way, we won't have to see him at the Hero next year anyway. So that's a win-win.
That's a that's a good point. And two, like Scotty getting that fired up for a hit and giggle, like that just shows you
Yeah.
his competitive
Honestly, I'm
spirit. Like
fired
if
up.
he's that angry for a tournament that, as far as everybody tells you, they don't seem to care that much about, like it's a vacation in the Bahamas basically, and I've just got to play golf for 4 days. So we even talked about it last week. I remember asking you, Joey, if we thought Scotty had even been playing much golf leading into it, and turns out he had. Well, actually, I don't know. He shot 20 under. He didn't win. I don't know if he's been playing or not.
I don't know that he has to play consistently to just go out there and fire that. But yeah, I love it. The guy's about it.
About it. Hooty hoo.
All right. Hero World Challenge. Did you guys watch the Alex Noren Hideki Matsuyama playoff at the end there? We saw the guys obviously going at it late. Came down to the wire there at the end, but I mean, it's Bahamas golf. It's pretty much what you'd expect. Hideki hit an absolute dart on the first playoff hole when they played 18 again, right? And just sunk the 3-footer nice and easy. So it was good for Hideki. Obviously, becomes a 2-time winner of the Hero World Challenge now, right?
That means he's got 2 photos with Tiger Woods.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think about. It's like, man, I want my picture standing there next to that big Tiger trophy with Tiger on the other side. Like I mean, that's something he's gonna cherish forever. Like, I mean, yeah, so that's the big takeaway for me. I mean, he obviously had an amazing Sunday. I think he shot 64. So that is a big deal. But you know, again, I think these guys were having fun, despite Scotty getting pissed off about hitting driver off the deck. I think these guys were down there just to have fun, and I think that they'd love to get the invite from Tiger. So good on him from winning his second.
Yeah, second title in the Hero World Challenge. All right. We also have some new quotes regarding Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy was playing down in Australia. He was talking about his off season. He said, "I'm excited to have a little bit of downtime and finally reflect on everything. Maybe watch a few of the tournaments back. I've not really let myself do that too much. Looking forward to the Christmas break and put the feet up, a few glasses of wine, and think back about what an unbelievable year." Obviously, coming off the Grand Slam win, it's been an amazing year for Rory McIlroy. Just your guys' overall thoughts on Rory's season that was is extremely successful for him, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to come back in 2026 and do some big things again, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think he's had one of the best seasons, honestly. If you really try to quantify it, probably one of the best seasons in the last decade of any player. Obviously, I mean, just with all the things that he accomplished this year, with winning the Grand Slam, with winning the Ryder Cup, winning the Players, and then all the other tournaments, and then I think when we talk about like the player of the year, which I'm sure we'll get to, that those are different criteria, but I think any golfer on the planet would trade years with Rory McIlroy almost with excluding Tiger obviously, but in the last decade, I mean who's not trading this year for him? So I personally envy him if I'm a professional player, even at the top level. Even if I'm Scotty, I still envy some of the things that he was able to accomplish this year, even though Scotty did pick off 2 more majors.
Even though Scotty picked off 2 more majors. Sheesh.
Casual.
Yeah.
Sheesh, boy.
I mean,
No, I mean Rory's kind of. I agree with him. Like he did have a fantastic year. It's a 2-horse race. Iron sharpens iron, right? Like those 2 guys are head and shoulders above everybody else right now, it seems, and on the PGA Tour side. So great year for Rory. I do want to just point out that while he says he's limited himself from watching back tournaments, you know damn well he's watched the Masters back
50 times.
oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. I'd be watching it every night. That'd be what I'd watch before I went to bed every single night.
Yeah. We also did get some quotes from Rory about kind of just his future outlook and what he's looking to accomplish, which I thought were interesting. He's acknowledged that he's kind of shifting away from regular PGA Tour wins. Like they're just not as important for him moving forward. here was the quote: "I want to win more majors. I want to be part of more Ryder Cup teams. I'd say my records on either tour, whether it be the DP or the PGA Tour, are probably meaning a little less to me as time goes on. And it's really just focusing on the majors and being part of the Ryder Cup team. I'm trying to build on the legacy that I've been building for the last 15 years." What do you guys think about this? I mean, obviously he's still going to play, a certain number of events on the PGA Tour, probably in that like 17 to 20 range. I think he hinted that he might be, dialing it back again next year by an event or two, which I think he said he was planning to do in 2025. I know he had cut an event or two kind of towards the beginning to middle of the season, but the end of the season, it just seemed like he added a ton of events that weren't on the calendar originally. Like the Australia thing, played in India, right? He played in India.
Yeah.
Obviously the Ryder Cup, he played at Wentworth. Like, he was playing all around the world from the fall on here. So it is a well-deserved break for Rory now. Wonder if he's going to be staying at home in Florida or if he's going to go to his second home in London. Not sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to split time, and I think he mentioned a couple of months ago too that he has intentions later on in his career to play more global golf. So I think what we saw kind of at the end of this year, I don't think it will be as backloaded and as heavy, but I do think he's going to play more globally, and he probably will cut out a couple events. I don't know how many more times he's going to play that event with Shane. What is it? Is it the Zurich or
Zurich.
whatever it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how many more times he's gonna do that, that kind of a thing. That's just kind of an extra week on his schedule. I know it's his buddy. I know they're best buds, but it's kind of like, come on, man. Like let's, he's. I think him winning the Grand Slam is just a new perspective for him. Like honestly,
Right.
overall.
Yeah.
So I do see him. I do see him slowing down a little bit and just picking and choosing what he wants.
He
And
also
honestly,
heard
like going to just one quick thing for me on the Zurich. Who wants to, as a Falcons fan, who wants to go to Louisiana? Nobody. Go
Whoa.
ahead.
New Orleans is great. That's all I'll say.
It's
Better,
a
better
dumpster
than
fire.
better than the A.
Oh.
I wanted to piss Hutch off and then just take it from him. Yeah, Rory heard Nick Faldo's quotes from last week that Rory isn't going to win another major. Basically gave him a big middle finger and said, "You know what? I'm actually just going to make sure that's all I work on."
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Actually.
So I don't know. I kind of hope he does, and then just makes a subtle comment while getting interviewed post win and says something about it. But yeah, I think he's kind of earned it. We've shadowed on Rory a lot just because of how great of a season he had. But yeah, I think it makes sense too. We talked about how he's going to balance playing so well, but also trying to channeling that energy of like, look, you've accomplished a lot. Probably focusing more on the wins that you want to get, way more important than even some of these signature events. So yeah, I think it's a good shift for him.
Yeah.
He's got to
So
be.
what-
I want to see him like when he wins 2 more majors, because I think we all kind of agree that he's probably going to do that. I want to see him just like play the long game and be like, if he's not, like, to use a current pop culture term, if he's not like 50 Cent level of petty towards Nick Faldo when he gets there, like he's really failed. Because 50 Cent's not being loud about it, but he's being very petty in subtle ways, and I love that. I'm here for it. I hope Rory does the same thing.
Yeah, I wonder what him and Nick's relationship are actually. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, because it's that whole debate of who's the greatest European golfer, and like I said last week or the week before, like I think Rory's just has established that, but like I do wonder, like, is their relationship frosty? I don't know. I don't have any insight.
I'm sure it's competitive.
Doesn't sound like they're best friends.
It also depends on who you ask. I think Nick probably tries to act more professional about it in a sense of, being the older one and kind of a mentor in that sense. But he also, it pisses him off. Like, he doesn't want Rory to, win more majors. That Rory also is very competitive and wants to kind of respectfully, respect his presence, but also like competitive guys. Like, I want to beat you. I want to be better than you. And that's what I want to be known for. So I'm sure like it goes without saying whenever they see each other, it's like, look, we'll be very professional, but I don't want you to beat me, but you want to beat me. And that's just how it is.
All right. As we look ahead here to 2026, the golf season's really winding down. PGA Tour Q schools going on this week. We also have the Grant Thornton Invitational. Some of the men and women coming together for that event in Naples. I think Jason Day, Lydia Ko, the usual people who are playing it. Tony Finau, I think Jessica Corda's playing. Some good teams there. I don't know if I'll be rushing over to the TV to watch it, but it's on. We're just kind of looking ahead to next year at this point. We got the PNC Championship, obviously, not this weekend, but next, I believe, right? It's really slowing down in golf overall now. We're looking ahead to next season now. TGL is going to be teeing off, I guess, here towards the end of December. It was revealed today that TGL has upper deck trading cards now, so I'm not sure if anyone here is interested in those. 2 cards per pack for $10, I believe.
Let's rip some packs, boys.
I
Pieces of the turf.
I saw that they had Tiger with the uppercut fist pump from his one made putt during that inaugural season.
Do they have a card?
Wait, did they have a Kisner card? Flex?
I hope they have a friggin' Kisner card of him blading it off the.
They have to.
Pin. Yeah.
What a missed opportunity if they don't, because he's very much in on the joke. Like that, they've got to have it.
Yeah, and I mean that was a big part of the broadcast on Sunday with Tiger and him talking about that. I mean, they need one of Tiger almost doubled over laughing, crying too.
That's right. That's crazy. Yeah, it's just an interesting time in golf now. It looks to me like we're kind of heading into next season quite divided, more divided than ever, I would say. It seems like LIV and the PGA Tour are just deciding to dig in. There doesn't seem to be any negotiating going on between LIV and the PGA Tour at this point. You got 2 new CEOs, both running their respective organizations. You're not hearing about any meetings going on between the PIF and the PGA Tour anymore. So it seems like both leagues are just kind of content with going their separate ways. I'm not sure at some point whether the goal is to come together or whatnot. I guess we're going to see if the first domino kind of falls with Brooks Koepka. That'll be interesting for sure. Just in the sense that we always thought that maybe he could be the first to go. Remember, we had the quotes from Freddie Couples there about how Brooks is going to be returning to the PGA Tour. That was several months back. And then Brooks was asked about it. And he basically said, well, I just talked to Freddie. Everyone can have their own opinion. He said, I don't even know where I'm going to play, which was telling at that point, I think, probably looking back on it now. Again, he's under contract for 2026. We know that guys like John Rahm, I think, are under contract longer than that. I think Rahm has an additional season after this one. He was locked up to a longer term deal. But we've also got Bryson DeChambeau's contract up for renewal. Apparently, they're in negotiations right now. He's locked in for 2026, but said he would like to get a contract renegotiated in advance of the season for the year following. So we'll see what happens.
I would think LIV would want that too, since he's the most popular golfer in the world. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that was a while ago that we heard the talks were ongoing, so I'm not sure what the latest is there. Obviously, extremely important. Like, throw whatever number it is at Bryson DeChambeau because he literally runs the entire show there. Just from a ambassador, from a top player standpoint, from an influencer standpoint, content standpoint. There's nobody that moves the dial more on social media at this point than him. It's not even really close in professional golf. You can say Rory and whatever, Rory, Tiger, they're not anywhere close to Bryson's presence online with YouTube. He's really leveraged it and taken it to the next level. So good on Bryson for, bringing new audiences and eyeballs to the game of golf. When they said these guys were going to LIV to grow the game, you could make the case that Bryson DeChambeau has done that on his own. Even without LIV, he's done that through his content, and he's let that kind of speak for itself. Fellas, we're going to wrap it up shortly. We're just going to do our discussion of the week. So let's go around the horn. We're going to hear from all of you guys, and we want to hear from you guys as well in the comments. We're gonna post this video up later, and we're gonna get your guys' thoughts. But let's go around. What's one rule in golf you would eliminate? If you could pick one rule in golf that you could eliminate, what would it be? I'll go last, and we'll start with Joey.
I don't know what crowd's going to hear this and how hot of a take this is going to be. I don't care what the stake says. If I find my ball and I can play it, let me play it. I don't need you telling me what kind of fescue it is, or if it's out of bounds and I need to go in someone's backyard to hit it. Don't live on a golf course, or like let me get a hack at it. Let me throw some, a little bit of sand back in someone's backyard. But let's just play it as a red everywhere. If I can see my ball and if I want to be a dumbass and take six hacks at it and break my hand on a rock, let me.
To your point, like as somebody who used to live on a golf course, like our old house was on a golf course, I would not have had a problem if somebody wanted to come play out of our yard. But
And
I'm a
okay,
golfer,
the
there are
yard is
people
like
who
fair. Like that's probably the one spot where it's, maybe just have some common courtesy. But some of these white stakes just in the middle of a spot that doesn't need to be OB. Like let's play it down.
For me,
especially with the white stakes that are in the wooded areas. I'm like,
yeah,
this isn't even somebody's backyard. Like, get those out of here.
Yeah.
Is that an OB stake or is that a property line? Like, what are we looking at here? What's happening here? Who surveyed this bullshit? No, for me, I've seen it. It's not going to be a hot take at all because I think it's one that everybody agrees with, and it's stupid that it hasn't been changed yet. You should not have to play out of a divot in the fairway.
Yeah,
you shouldn't ever. You gain nothing from moving it 2 inches to the side. It's stupid as hell.
Yeah, I mean, quite literally, that was mine for sure. I think that's the dumbest rule in golf. If you can tap down spike marks, and I'm just gonna kind of go second with you here, Hutch. If you can tap down spike marks on the green, which a previous player put on the green with their feet, they left them there, right? So did the guy in front of you who hit the same 9-iron that your ball rolled into. Like, why am I having to play out of that? And then on top of it, a sanded divot is even worse because it's just like right out of the middle of fairway. So I mean that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Ours is more of a professional level type thing because I don't think many people at home are playing out of divots because it's a common sense thing. Like if I'm playing with my friends and they're in a divot, I just move it out. I'd rather beat you fair and square than beat you because you got a bad lie in the middle of the fairway. So on the professional level, especially at the professional level, because all these guys are so good, they're all hitting it to the same spots anyway. So it's inevitable that somebody's going to end up in a divot. It's just stupid. It's stupid.
And you watch
if it's one of them Birdie Fest tournaments, I don't agree.
Yeah, and you watch the ball like down in the Bahamas at Albany, right? Like the balls, they're chipping it up, it's coming back to their feet. There's just a collection of divots there. It's like, man, I shouldn't have to hit out of that. This shot's already hard enough as it is. And it was just I just don't understand if we're tapping down spike marks, which I also agree with. Why are we having to play out of someone else's? You didn't create that. The course didn't present that to you when the tournament started. It was put there by another player. So I second you on that, Hutch.
Yeah, there's a reason why they protect the course before a tournament, so there's not divots in the fairway. Like, why are you going to penalize? Like, I'm offering to go further from my the point that I'm trying to get to. I'll take it back 5 feet if I need to. Just give me some flat grass, or just even not a 2-inch hole in the ground full of sand or other debris.
To what you said, Ryan, like let's cue over to a clip of Wyndham Clark getting a chip back to his feet on those grainy ass bone fairway edges around the greens. Like he ended up in a divot. He might lose his mind. He might break his club in half and stab somebody in the crowd.
Wyndham Clark should have to play out of divots. We'll keep one exception for the rule.
It's fair.
I was also going to go with the divot one, but I'll switch it up. One that I think is dumb is when, you can tell that a guy's making every effort to not make contact with the ball. Or like he's, shuffling around near the ball, like before a practice swing, and like just a slight little movement, causes the ball to move like, a 16th of an inch or something like that. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, there's no intent to move the ball. You're playing golf on all sorts of uneven surfaces. But the camera zoomed in and it sees that it's moved. Now, Patrick Reed grounding his club in sand, where he's taking practice swings and actually removing sand from his club, that's a different situation. He was clearly brushing sand away with his club. But I'm speaking on situations where it's like you're about to like take your club back to address the ball, and it's just the smallest little hairline movement. You can't even really detect that you were doing it, and it's still ruled a penalty.
Yeah, it's
Where
ridiculous. Go ahead, Dutch.
I was just gonna ask where are we at on slope on rangefinders, but that's just me.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to
just so
divert
that
away
we,
from the live cheating allegations.
yeah, just so we can have a fourth option, for us to talk about. The fact that you're moving into the woods or into the forest, right, and you have an official right there, and if you're trying to take your stance, and if you're trying to take a practice swing, if you accidentally break a branch that you're legitimately not trying to break, like you're not trying to improve your swing, can we look at intent there? Like if you're in there whacking down branches and whacking down the briars, I get that, but like if you accidentally break a branch, that should not be a penalty stroke.
And I don't want to like shit on the rules of golf too much because they did massive improvements a few years ago when they kind of simplified things, right? Like I think we all just think that they could simplify it more. More
also,
common sense is never a bad thing.
more common sense, less rules officials. Hey, if someone gets away with something, look, 40 years ago, we didn't have 4K, 60,000 frame per second slow-mo cameras, right at their heels. If the ball moves a hairline, the point where nobody around sees it, it's clearly not going to be that big of a difference. Like if we have to literally slow it down frame by frame and call somebody in New York, like we're watching, a toe tap in the end zone in an NFL game, criminal amounts of looking into it. Like the ball's moving this much. And now, granted, if it falls down into a blade of grass, like further down, that's just someone's going to see that. But we're talking about the most micro little things, and it drives me crazy because we're talking about pace of play, and you're sitting here staring at a broadcast while we're got 6 dudes looking at a camera to see if the ball actually moved.
Yeah, let me assure you that when the game was invented over in Scotland in those windy conditions, old Tom Morris's ball fucking moved. I assure you. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, crazy.
It's a game of honor, boys.
It is.
All right, fellas. I think this is probably a good spot to wrap it. This has been episode number 45 of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. As always, you can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. You can find us live on YouTube and on X. We'll be back next week for episode number 46. We thank all of you guys for watching and for your continued support. Be sure to leave a review of our podcast. Go ahead and watch the full video format on X or on YouTube. We would like to thank our sponsor for today's show, Zippix Toothpicks. Use code Nuclear at zippixtoothpicks.com for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 plus. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. We appreciate Zippix for their support. Thanks to all of you guys for watching and listening to this episode of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. And we will see you next week for episode number 46. Till next time, have a great night, everyone. See ya.